you know, we love Juji Gatame, and we're going to be doing a lot of that. We'll do a little bent arm lock a little later too, but right now we're going to work some Juji Gatame. We're going to start this series today from this position, okay? So I'm going to let Derek take over here in a second. I'm just setting up the stuff here. Like, we call this a seated rodeo ride because for good reasons. Like, you know, a rodeo ride, you know, guy, you know, bucking bronco or whatever. And get your hooks in. Key thing is control the feet, control with the hands. Keep position where you're always close enough, but not too close that you're blocking yourself out. So good body position is fundamental. All these things teach not just an arm lock, but they teach you to move efficiently on the mat. So that's part of what we're doing here. So when you think about that in terms when you're watching these moves here, okay? So I'm gonna let him go. But basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna get to the side, kick him over, and go right into a Juji. It's a fairly simple move, but it does have a real high rate of success. And that's why we show it. So I'll let you go there, man.
Okay. So I like to do this one off of the seat belt or over-under grip because it gives you lots of options for choking. But they tend to worry about the upward hand or the top side hand for the chokes. And while they're defending that, so I'm coming through here, it gives my bottom hand room to grab a hold of that wrist, okay? And from there, the opposite side leg is gonna create some space. So that foot, here, I'm gonna take that way. So once I've got a hold of the wrist that I want, the opposite foot comes through and pushes him a little bit so that I get some space.
Everybody see it real quick. See how he's pushing him on the buttocks and the hip area with his foot, almost like he's foot sweeping it. And again, we're talking about making room for his body to work. Sorry.
So not only does that give me the space to shift my hips up, it also gives me a lane to drop him. So if I don't create that space, I have to go directly sideways, which is okay if you're athletic enough to do it, but it gives its own pros and cons as well. So this way everybody can do it, make enough space, okay? Other foot comes up on the hip, let him plop right down, okay, now that he's in my lap, elbow up into my chest, controlling foot goes over, get nice and tight in on his head, shift over, collect, sit back.
Okay, let's parse that out now, guys. Watch what he does. Watch when he makes the foot on the hip, and watch what he does with his other foot. Look at this right leg. See how he anchors there. See that? Now, he's not just flopping it there like a piece of meat. He's using his foot to manipulate Eric's body. See how it's across the line of the body here, this midline? And now he's trapping it right there at the high hip, low thigh, or the upper thigh area. And now, look at this manipulation of the feet. Now, that's good leg control, okay? Now, he's got him tight, and notice how he's in an L shape. See how Derek is not straight on with him, he's now sideways where he wants to be. And he takes from that. Go ahead.
Okay. So from here, all I have to do is just let go with this leg, and then just pull him down, okay? Other arm comes over on top, into the chest with the elbow, controlling foot comes over the head. You slide your belt side foot up off the hip into the shoulders so that I'm controlling the shoulders and the head. Collect, sit back.
One last thing on how he traps that arm and collects that arm. Can you do that again? Should we get to that point? Now watch how he's got, now Eric is now in what we call the leg press position. He's in trouble. Derek's pressing Eric down with his legs and controlling him, okay? Now watch how he uses his arms to trap the arms, you know, his opponent's arms, Eric's arms to his chest so he can use his whole body weight. It's not who's got the strongest set of arms. It's how I can trap you to my body and roll you back.
So once the belt side leg comes up to assist controlling the shoulders, the hand that's hooking and prying that elbow into my wrist or my chest is going to come up and grab some gi for the guys that aren't used to it. So grab as high up on your collar as you can, and that way when I let go, this is stuck there. So where my body goes now, the rest of it does. For the guys that are used to this move, we're just going to come up and try and grab as high as we can, okay? And then the other hand comes up on the other side.
See how you just slide it right back, and it just really, really levers that arm out straight, right across, you know, the axis, your pubic bone. Okay? One more time. Watch how he does it, and we'll let you guys drill. Finish it out. Any questions? We good? Take it in steps. Don't try to do it real quick immediately, take it in steps. Eventually, especially in ground fighting, we're not so worried about how fast you do it, but how efficient your body movement is. You know, like I've often said, take your time, but do it in a hurry. In other words, be very efficient in your body movement. Yeah, Victor.
Just a quick question, and you probably already caught up. When you go ahead and get in the position again, Coach. You're always going to take the inside arm that you're going to. You ever talk?
Yeah, the lower hand. So if
So
I'm
kind
in
of-
the
when
over
you're
under
teaching,
Good
seatbelt,
point, good point.
this side. So again, if I try and go after the other one, even if he's being nice and he's keeping that hand there, and I manage to get a hold of this wrist, okay, now when I come over, I don't have the underhook, okay? So even if I did it on this side, I'm gonna have to swing back through and catch, which I guess is doable, but it's an extra step, so why would we even worry about that? Plus, they're always guarding that top hand. The minute you get this hand over his shoulder, he's like, ah, choke, okay? And now I've got the other wrist. They always forget about this wrist because they're worried so much about this. And if they're not worried about that, start grabbing some collar or some shoulder, they get worried about it real quick, okay?
What we're doing, the other skills we're going to work on after this one are working off controlling the wrist. So we're starting with this on purpose, because you're seeing, I think, a very efficient arm lock here, but we're going to lean right into some other wrist ride situations. Okay?
And your wrist rides are going to set up your chokes and your arm locks, but they're also going to be able to follow up. So even if I'm through here and I'm starting to work this choke, notice how he gets that kind of chicken wing sort of position right there. So I might even be working this choke and it's not working, and I'm like, all right, screw it. I got his near wrist now. Okay? So I pry that free.
Remember we say, you know, get the position and get the submission, you know. You got to control the position as much as you possibly can. Now remember, you got a human being who's fighting you, who's skilled, fit, and very motivated to get out of trouble. So take it slow, get your skills down, keep drilling. Guys, these are the type of things, go back to, I like that move. Do lots of drills, every practice. First with total cooperation and with minor resistance. In drilling, when you're drilling, it's just a note on your training. I never have my guys fight out of this position 100% if you're Eric, the bottom guy, because the drill's always for him in this particular, unless we're trying to get him to escape. But right now, we want to give him always an opportunity to keep doing lots of good drills, or lots of good repetitions, to where he develops good habits, efficient habits of movement. And that's what we're trying to do. So don't just say, I'll do this once and I'll roll. No, do thousands of repetitions and correctly done, and you will develop good habits. Okay? All right? Let's work on that. When we get that down, we're going to come back. We're going to go to the next phase. All right? Go get it.